Hey guys, it's Typical Cycle Repair. Today working on an Echo PB265LN. Now this has a bad coil on it. You can see the coil is here. See in my previous video, I'll show you how this coil went bad, what it looks like, what to look for. Make sure when you're testing your coil that you isolate it from everything else. So disconnect the kill switch wire, okay, and then test it. The weird thing about coils is that they won't show when they're cold sometimes. They'll only show when they're hot. So if you got a machine that keeps dying when it gets hot, check the coil when it's hot, not when it's cold, because it'll give you a false reading. When it's cold, it looks like it's working, but when it gets hot, that's when you need to test it. All right, so run the thing until it dies, and then test your coil quick, okay? Now, in order to get this coil, you can see it's kind of buried through here. I'm going to have to take a lot of this stuff off. This machine has to, almost everything has to come off of it. I'm going to start out with taking the whole back rest here off, the hose. So I got three Allen keys right here, all right? So you got one with the spring on it right there. And these are, on this machine, some of them are Torx, I think, but on this machine it's a 4mm Allen key. So I got one there. I got two on the bottom. I'm going to take these two off right here so I can leave the arm with it, so I don't have to worry about taking off any of the wires or anything, throttle or anything like that. I can leave that all on. All right, so here it is. I got the one off the top right here, and I got the two off the bottom. I disconnected the two fuel lines and the three that hold on this throttle control and everything, and then you have the whole piece right here just sitting there with the gas tank on it waiting to get put back on. All right, so from this point here I'm going to take these off around here. I'm just going to take this one off. I'm going to get this hose out of the way so that it's even easier to work on, and then you just got to start taking off this back cover. You got these right here to pull off the back fan cover. All right, and then we're going to pull those off, and then we'll see the fan in there, and then we're getting close. All right, so let me get that going here. All right, so yeah, leave those three in. So I got all these out right here, and this whole thing will come off. All right, and that's what we're looking at now. Now the next thing we got to do is we got to take this off right here. You can hold this and hit it with an impact. That's what I'm going to do. If not, take the spark plug out, put some rope inside there, and rotate it until you're at top dead center, and or close to it, because the rope is jammed up in there, and then you'll be able to get this off. So let me get a socket and get that taken off. This is 13mm. All right, got a washer there. Got your 13mm nut, your washer, and the flywheel the blower just sits on here, the blower fan. Just pull it off. All right, that's out of the way. All right, now connecting this cover to the back, we have a couple more Allen keys. We got 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, and we also have the throttle cable mount, which you can see it coming through this side here. So I'm going to take these out. This cover should come off, and then we should be able at that point to see the coil. Should be right below here. All right, so let me get that taken off. Guys, when you take this back one out here, it's got the bracket that holds in the throttle linkage. It's just a nut that sits inside of there, and it also has your ground wires. So don't forget that. All right, guys, these back here are 3mm too. They're a different size than the rest of them. Make sure you're using good Allen keys and good tools. Don't strip these. All right, so now we got everything taken off that we need on this side, so let's flip it over to the other side. All right, so this side here, we have all these right here to take off this black cover. Told you this thing's got about, just whole thing's got to come apart to get this stuff off of here. Crazy. And there's our coil. So now I took those 4 off right there. Now this piece is off. Now we're finally at our coil right there. All right, so let's get this coil off right here. So this one right here, you have the wire. This is the kill switch wire on the top right here. All right, right there. And then you have the two. These look like 3 millimeters also to get this coil off. We have the plug wire. It's got a grommet right there. We're going to take that grommet off and another one on the heat shield. And then we're going to go ahead and take the wire off here. That's our ground wire. Now we're going to zap that off of there. Now the setting for here, they say to use a business card. Yeah, I'll show you that in a minute. It's got a nut and a washer on there. All right, and there we go. So when you're putting the end back on here, I'm going to show you there's a certain way you want to do it so that when you put it back together again, you don't have to twist this wire a lot to get it back on. These are a little different than normal. You don't just screw them in. All right, so this is hard to pull off right now. I'm going to warm it up with the heat gun, and the rubber should flex enough for me to pull it off. Basically, this just pulls straight off the end right here. And the new coil, all right, so here's the new coil, part number on it. All right, this new coil right here doesn't come with an end on it, so you got to save the other end and put it on there. It just comes with the bare. And the way that these work, they just kind of pinch in the side and hang out the top. They don't screw in the end of them like a motorcycle one would. So let me get and warm up that other one and pull that off. Alright, so this is what I'm talking about with the coil. You can see it's kind of a wire that just gets pressed in the side of it. So what you want to do is lay this coil up to the other one, have the other coil bend in the same direction, the wire, and then what I did here is I made a dot where I want that to pinch in. Because when you put it on there, if you need to rotate this, you're going to be twisting the whole wire. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull this one out. I'm going to push it into the other one where I have made that little dot right there using a pair of pliers. I'm going to squeeze it in there, and then I'm going to heat up the boot, warm that up, put some dielectric grease on there and on the end, so it'll help me slide it over into place. So let me get that done. Alright, so for this here, you just grab it, you pull it out. And now before you put it on the other one, you want to transfer over all the bushings and stuff on here. These little grommets that go in, make sure you take these off. It's got a little spark plug. This tells you what spark plug to put on it. All right, and then you have the two bushings to pull off of here. So pull the bushings off, put them on the new one. Now remember I made that dot on there? All right, see the dot? So I'm just gonna press this right on the same area. Now if you look at the old one, you can see how far that's sticking out of there. So make sure you got everything kind of in the same place. And then what you do for this here is you just kind of stick it in there where you want it. And then use the pliers I just used to take it out. And I'm just going to squeeze it in, okay? So let me just put it down here. All right, so we're going to put it there. I'm going to squeeze it down into the wire. It makes contact in there. All right, and then we're in squeezed in like that. Okay? All right. So let me heat up this boot right here. We'll get this boot heated up and I'll be able to get that on. All right, with it all heated up, it's going to be easier to get on, but you see what we're trying to do here. I mean, it's a pretty big gap of the sizes we got to put together. So with it nice and soft, we're just going to take it and push it over. I got some dielectric grease on there that just help everything go on. We're almost all the way through, and then we're good. All right, I'm looking down the front of it here, and you can see it's good to go. All right, so that's that. Now, let's reassemble everything. So what we got to do for here is get this coil back on. And what you want to do is use like a business card, something thin like this. Is if you don't have feeler gauges for this. It's real simple. We're just going to put this on here. I'm going to take that business card, just stick it in here, rotate this so the magnet all right. So we're just sitting here with the business card in it, and now what that's doing is pulling this down so we get a nice gap right there. Magnet's pulling it, so we don't have any more gap than what we want. We're going to tighten these two up. All right, and there's our gap right there, looking good. All right, so we got the first grommet we're going to push on right here. All right, the second one is going to go on in the plastic part. So we got both of them set up right there, all back into place here that we want. And there we are. So what we got to do now is put the back cover on, the cover that has the routing for the kill switch wire. All right, this one here. When you put this cover on, all right, you're going to have the wiring right back here for the kill switch wire. So here's the wire right here. We're going to plug this in where it belongs. There's a little rubber grommet that goes there also. So I'm going to get that plugged in right there. Grommet into place. All right, and then when we put this back on, I got to just, you can kind of see how the wire is bent up. All right, we're going to put that in and just match it into here. It'll kind of fall into place when you put it in there. Just get it all back into place. All right, so we're sitting like that now. So at this point here, I have the wires that are coming out for the kill switch here. I'm going to make sure they're in the right place. There's a little groove for them to come through. Get them both in the same slot. All right, let's see if I can show you how that looks right there. You can see the two wires kind of jammed, a little spot right there. There's a little slot for them. Make sure you get those in place. And then we got our grounds, kill switch wires here, and our throttle cable. So let's get a couple of these screws in here to hold this all together. If you're not familiar with using these power tools, don't just go jamming them in there. Take your time, learn them. All right, double check everything. Everything's looking good. All right, guys, so this is how it looks right here. Get the wires wrapped around there. This is our throttle housing, and this is our kill switch wires right here. All right. All right, putting the flywheel back on. It's got there's three holes right here that go on the 3 pins right here. So make sure you get that right. All right, good to go there. Okay, now we got the other housing. All right, so we got the housing on this side to go on. When we put this side on here, we got to make sure that our tube is in for the blower nozzle. We got to put that on as well. So this just sits on here. We got to make sure we got that nozzle in place. So let's get all the bolts for this, and we'll get this put on. All right, before we do that, we're going to put these four self tappers in here. They're just plastic, so don't go too crazy on them. You'll strip them. All right, now the back cover. All right. Looking good. We got all that together. Now we got to put it back onto the housing for the backpack mount. Sip of coffee. All right, so put it back on here it's a bit of a pain because you got to do a balancing act again. All right, so we're going to bring it up here. All right, so on the top we have that strap I told you guys about earlier. It's just like a, it's a vinyl strap. I'll show you what I'm talking about here. Okay, so I got a vinyl strap right here. So I need to put the washer between the spring and the vinyl strap before it goes into the housing. All right, that one's on. And now what I'm going to do is I have all these back ones to get on, but I'm going to put the, all right guys, for the arm right here, they're all these self-tappers. All right, there was one that I left in there that this padding kind of held on for me. The other two have washers. All right, now we're going to lay them on its back right here. So now we have a washer we got to get in there. All right, and then a screw that's threaded. These are machined because it goes into a little nut in here, and I'll show you when I get in there. So let's get this one started. All right, so there's a nut that's sitting inside there. Then we got the washer right there, and then the bolt that comes through the bottom. All right, so let me do that on the other side. All right, good there. Tighten this one up. Stand it up. Tighten the top one. Check everything works good. Throttle works good. Okay, the arm rotates fine. Sip of coffee and we'll start it up. Alright guys, so there it is, good to go, no problems. It really wasn't that hard when you get it down. I mean, you rip through the whole thing and take it apart and probably fix the whole thing within 30 minutes, 45 minutes, maybe do the whole thing. It's really not too bad at all. These are non-adjustable carburetors, so carb's clean, it runs. You know, I'm just going to go around and blow with it and let it clear out and everything, but it sounds like it's running fine now. There's no problems with it. Pretty simple job. If you have no spark, do those tests with the test light. All right, remember, take the test light, hook the test light from the plug wire to the plug, pull it, see if you got your spark, you know, spark plug tester light. Make sure you got a spark. If not, unplug it from there, keep it plugged into the plug wire, touch a ground somewhere else and pull it again. If you got a spark there, it's a bad plug. If you don't have a spark, you're looking at a bad coil. So make sure you check your wiring too, in between your coil where the ground is, all the way down to the switch. I've seen them pinched in there before, when they're pinched up against the case and the body. And if it does that, it'll ground it from the body to the plug coil, so you won't get a spark that way. All right, so make sure that your wiring and everything is good as well. But guys, hope you like this video. Please hit the like button, subscribe for me, hit the bell for further notifications, guys. Until next time, this is TEPCO Cycle Repair.